Hey guys, in this tutorial I want to show you how to remove fine facial hair using Photoshop. Now on the screen now I've got an image, and this is a really common occurrence in particularly older women. They get this fine facial hair, and it's particularly noticeable if you've got sunlight across the face. These tiny little fine hairs, and photoshopping them can be problematic if you're trying to use the clone tool or something like that, but I've got a little trick that is a lot faster than that and actually gives you a pretty good result. So first thing I'm going to do is just duplicate my image, so Command J, just so I've got a nice new copy. And then what I want to do is come to Filter, Noise, Dust and Scratches. All right, now you get this little dialog box that comes in, and you've got something called the radius and the threshold. So I'll bring them both to 0. Now, radius, as I go up, I want you to look at the fine details in the image and notice how they blur. Now, obviously at 57 pixels, that's quite a lot. So what you want to do is you want to go somewhere between 1 and 3 pixels. So if you've got a camera that's got larger images, like, you know, sub 25 megapixel raw files, then you're going to need to go maybe to 3 pixels, and anything under that, somewhere between 1 and 2. But what you want to do is I'll toggle on and off so you can see how the detail is just blurred out there at 2 pixels. All right, that's where you want to be. Now the threshold is going to bring back some of the texture. Now if I go all the way up, you'll see that a lot of that texture, I'm just actually reversing what I've just done. So you kind of want to be somewhere around where you bring back some of that texture and contrast, but we've still hiding those fine little facial hairs. So somewhere about 10. 9 looks good. So we'll toggle on and off so you can see that I've pretty much cleaned up a lot of those hairs just by doing that. But if I look at my image overall, I've also lost a little bit of detail. So let's tackle that next. So now that I've got my new layer selected and it kind of toggle on and off, you can see I've got rid of a lot of those little details. What I'm going to do now is add a layer mask. So it's this little icon here. And now I'm going to hide the actions that I've just performed. So to do that, I'm going to invert that layer mask. So I'm going to change it from white to black. Okay, so to do that, it's Command I is the shortcut. And now what I've just done is hidden. So top layer and bottom layer are exactly the same. With my layer mask selected, my foreground color is white. Select a brush. Make sure it's nice and soft. So 0 hardness, blend mode normal, opacity 100. I'm going to get my flow up to around 25. For this one, wherever I come in and brush now, I'm going to brush in the action that I just created, and you can see that I'm going to be blurring out those hairs now. Now I might just bring the flow up a little bit higher, go to 50, and that's taking care of particularly these little fine ones that have been caught by the light. It's fantastic for that. And get rid of the ones on the side of the face as well, and on the chin there. And so if this was just a proof, you could leave it at that. If this was your high-res image, I've got another step that I want to do just to show you to finish that off. All right, so even gets rid of nasal hair as well. Have a look at that. Okay, and just do the ones on the side of the face. Let's have a look. And on the cheeks there. All right, so let's toggle on and off there. You can see before and after, particularly here on the corners of the lips, it's done a really good job. Now I'm pretty happy with that, but now what I want to do is I want to bring back some of this skin texture. And as I say, if this was only a proof image, you could probably leave it at that. But if you wanted to make it look a lot more natural, what I'm going to do now is bring back the skin texture. To bring back the skin texture, I'm going to add a skin texture overlay. Now you can download a skin texture overlay in the download section of the Gold community, and I'll put a link to where this is in the blog notes for you. So I'm going to go to File, Place Embedded, find my Miracle Skin, hit place. All right, and there it is. And so you can see it's a skin texture. I'm going to place it over the area that I want it, which is now it's covered most of the skin where I need it. Hit OK. And then I'm going to change my blend mode from normal to hard light. All right, now if I zoom out, you can see that where I've placed my overlay, it's actually making the skin a little bit lighter than the overall image. So what I can do to fix that is go to Image, Adjust, Brightness, Contrast, and just slide the brightness slider across until you don't see this line here between the two. So it's like you've got a good match in terms of both the tones are the same. So you can see there, all right, before and after. So that now that skin texture is the same brightness as the original skin tone. So hit OK, and now you can see that I've added a skin texture, but I've added texture everywhere and I don't want to do that. So again, what I'm going to do is just place that texture in the areas that I've repaired the skin or removed that peach fuzz or facial hair. So what I'm going to do now to the Miracle Skin layer is add another layer mask, and I'm going to invert that so I'm hiding the skin texture that I've just placed on. So now you can't see the skin texture, and to bring it back, all I need to do is make sure that white is my foreground color. I've got the brush selected, zero hardness, blend mode normal, opacity 100%, and I've got my flow at around 50%, and I can now just brush some skin texture back into those areas. So around the chin, everywhere basically that I removed that extra little peach fuzz or hair there. And now I've got rid of that fuzz, and I've also brought back the texture. Now if there's a few more stubborn hairs, you can just go around and zoom right in and clone those out, but I think that does a pretty good job at removing those hairs and just giving the face a smoother appearance.